Hey, hi, I'm Chris. Welcome back to my channel. Every day I'm doing a vlog for 1,000 days. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe would be awesome. Thank you so much. I've got to tell you about this. I went into a shop the other day and I saw somebody and they were complaining about the least little thing. I really couldn't believe it. But some people naturally can complain. They do. They put it right out there and they say exactly how they feel. Now, part of me admires that. Part of me says, we don't complain enough. Maybe we should. Have you ever been somewhere and just wanted to keep the peace and just thought, you know what, it really doesn't matter. I'll just take it and leave. It'll be fine. So what? And I've done that on so many occasions. But I saw this particular person. They were like, no, I'm not happy with that. Could you do this? And the person in the shop looked at them as if to say, I could see the look on their face. They were like, okay, all right, yeah. But there is that golden rule, isn't there, where customers are always right. Isn't that what they say when you're in retail or in any kind of business? The customer is always correct, is always right. Maybe not always, but that's the rule anyway. So this person complained, and yes, they got what they wanted, and they left. Now, when you're around that sometimes, I just always feel comfortable. But is that something that you do? Do you witness somebody complain about something? If it's justified, there are times when it is. If it's justified, you can literally say, well, yeah, that's fine, I completely get that. Maybe at times you'd back them up. But some people just want to complain as well for absolutely nothing. And that I find appalling. So I guess the older I get, in my life, the less I want confrontation. I think some people just naturally gravitate towards it. So if I go into a shop and I see somebody complaining for no reason, just over a triviality, and it holds up everybody else because it's kind of selfish behaviour, yeah, I guess you want to call that out, really, don't you? And that's not so nice. But complaining, I gather, in the UK, we are pretty good at complaining. We are. We moan about the weather an awful lot, I know that. If you meet somebody, a complete stranger, if you're waiting in line in a queue, because we're good at queuing as well here in the UK, the first thing they talk about is the weather and moan about it. And the next thing, well, yeah, there's some kind of complaint that comes out. The cost of something, or something's gone up, and they're having to pay even more here, because it is quite expensive here in the UK. But yeah, I was witness to somebody complaining. It was a trivial complaint. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're not getting satisfaction, if you've paid for something, I guess that's a fair assessment to make. But if it's something ridiculously, minuscule what you're getting in return, is it actually worth the complaint? Is it worth the effort? I don't know if it is. I really don't know if it is, and some people just want to complain at the least little thing. But I guess for me, I mean, there are times in my life I have complained. I've always dealt with it in a way where I've come across really as being, look, thank you so much. However, look, can I just have this adjusted, please, because I don't feel that's right. But I'd really appreciate it if you could. So long as you're respectful, not demanding like a spoiled child. And some people can't draw that line, can they? They've got to be a spoiled child because that's the way they behave. And it's no wonder, really, that when they complain, people call them out on it at times. I think generally, if you're somewhere and somebody's complaining, and if it's for absolutely nothing, I think if you're in that queue, probably most people will call out that complainant. They would. And that's probably quite healthy, quite normal for people. I mean, I've been somewhere where somebody's moaned about not having the correct change, or or having to pay an extra £1 more than they. And I almost wanted to say to them, look, I'll give you that £1. I'll give it to you. Please, I've got a life to live. I want to move on from it, but let's not quibble over something so minuscule, because that's ridiculous, isn't it? To quibble over and argue over and complain about something so tiny, but people do. And it's true, I guess it's true what they say, isn't it? It's always the little things. It's the little things that really annoy people. And little things turn into big things, don't they? And before you know it, the complaint is escalated. And people will moan about anything. They will say, I want your boss's name and number. I'm going to complain about you. I didn't get the service I deserved. I don't like you. I don't like X, Y, and Z. And it's spoiled behaviour, some of it. Maybe some of it is justified, but there's a balance. Some people just want to moan and cry off about it because they are themselves spoilt children. Generally though, most people are good. In my former career, yeah, I had complaints and people moaned about me, but I was always fair and reasonable and practical in dealing with them. So I could always justify my actions in terms of how I spoke with them. And sometimes people can't accept the candid, frank approach. For them, it's just too difficult. And when you put a mirror up to some people, they just don't like that kind of reception. They've got to identify then that they're actually behaving badly. And what do? They don't like it, and they demand then to have you dealt with, because they want to complain about you. They want to be superior to you, like they're treating you like a child. I'm going to get you told off. I'm going to get you remonstrated with by your superior, because that's something that I want to happen. It's spoiled behaviour, really, isn't it? But complaining is justified in certain times, but not like that. I mean, I have witnessed people who behave like that, and that for me is unpalatable. And they kind of deserve, they deserve what they get out of life, really. And what they get out of life, well, I don't think they get any further ahead by complaining, especially if they complain about little things in terms of, like the complaint is such a small complaint and they get very little back. The effort isn't worth the reward, if that makes sense. And people will complain now. They really will. And it's their right in this country, as it is probably most places around the world. There's some places you couldn't mind. That would be disastrous, unhealthy. But here in the UK, yeah, you've got the right to complain if you're unhappy with the service or something that's happened. But some people you might even know on a personal level just complain to you, because every time you meet them, that's all they do. They consistently talk about loss and the cost of something, and they make you feel, gosh, I just don't want to put up with that. I just don't want to listen to it. But by listening to it, you feel like you're almost fueling the fire. But complaining, well, I guess at times we have the right to complain, but at other times we've got to just say, no, I'm kind of not going to listen to that. But it's the petty complaining that really annoys me, the pettiness of it all. And it can be quite petty, it really can. Like I say, I was in a queue and I almost wanted to pay for somebody because they were arguing over pennies. I almost wanted to put the change in their hand and say, here you go, have it, just, But then I'd be the bad guy, wouldn't I? And they'd want to complain about me or complain to me. Yeah. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. Every day I do a vlog. Every day I pop one out, and I'll be back again tomorrow with something completely different. If you could subscribe, a subscribe would be awesome. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I'll see you then. Bye now.